Question 12, very serious about this. B.E.C.E and BECE are 12 and 8 years old respectively. So the respectively means it is the name and the age are arranged. So B.E.C.E and BECE, B.E.C.E came first, which means B.E.C.E's age is 12. So we can put down our parameters. 12 years, and then BECE is 8 years. So B.E.C.E and BECE 12 and 8. B.E.C.E is 12, BECE is 8. Beautiful. They shared 60 mangoes. So they share 60 mangoes. All right, let's proceed. In the ratio of their ages, how many mangoes did B.E.C.E get? In the ratio of their ages. In the ratio of their ages, which means the ratio becomes their ages. So B.E.C.E and BECE, so B.E.C.E's ratio, B.E.C.E's age is to BECE's age, and that will give you the ratio. So the ratio is 12 is to 8. But 12 is to 8 is a bigger number. We can break it down to have a very simplified ratio. So we divide by 4. So 12 by 4 will give you 3. 8 by 4 will give you 2. So the modified ratio is 3 is to 2. You can use the 12 is to 8 to do your calculation, all right, but you get bigger values that you need to break down eventually. So why don't we just reduce the ratio to its lowest form and solve it in a simple way. All right, so this is a new ratio. Now we are going to divide the mango shared between or among B.E.C.E and BECE, and that is proportional division. To compute proportional division correctly, the first thing you have to do is find the total ratio. So what is our total ratio? Total ratio means you find the sum of the ratio. 3 plus 2, that will give you 5. Now, the question is, how many mangoes did B.E.C.E receive? To find B.E.C.E's share, you divide B.E.C.E's ratio, which is what? Now, it's no longer 12. I've modified it. So B.E.C.E's ratio is what? 3. By the total ratio, and multiply by the number of mangoes shared. So 60. So that's how you do it for all proportional division. If you want to find the portion or the share for one part of the ratio, you divide that particular ratio over the total ratio times the total amount to be shared or distributed. All right. So 5 will go into 60, or 5 will divide 60 12 times. 5, 12, 60. Now we have 3 times 12. That will give you 36. So it means that B.E.C.E will receive 36 what? Oranges. And that was our question. So let's get the options. A 42, B 40, C 36, and D 18. So our correct answer is C, 36 oranges. We quickly look at question 13. Quickly look at question 13. Now, question 13 says, it takes 6 students 1 hour to sweep their school compound. How long will it take 15 students to sweep the same compound? I take the question again. It takes 6 students 1 hour to sweep their school compound. 6 students, 1 hour. So 1 hour is equivalent to 6 students. That's what it means. The first statement, it takes 6 students 1 hour to sweep their school compound, which means that in a space of 1 hour, the school compound can be swept fully by 6 students. The question then is, how long will it take 15 students to sweep the same compound? So now I'm changing, or I'm increasing the number of students from 6 to 15. So 6 to 15, how many hours would I use? Or how many hours will be used by these 15 students to sweep the same piece of compound working at the same rate? This is an indirect proportion question. Indirect proportion. So first, you have to write your ratio right. So let's bring the points given at the right hand side. So if 6 students can do the work in 1 hour, then 15 students will require how many hours? So here you have to ask yourself, this is a little bit of common logic. 6 students require 1 hour to work. Now I've increased the number of students to 15. How long do you think the student will need? Would they need more time or they will need less time? The answer is they will need less time because the number of workers have been increased. So more people to do that small work, which means they will finish early. So the time will be reduced. That's why I said it's an indirect proportion or inverse proportion. So even though we increase the number of students, the workload or the time demanded will be reduced. So increase here, reduction here. That is indirect. So it means that for 15 students, you need less hours. And if less, more divide. So you have 6 over 15, more divide, times 1 hour. That will give you the number of hours. So we divide we divide by 3. So 3 will go into 6, 2. 3 will divide 15, 5. So 2 over 5 times 1 hour is 2 over 5 hour. Let's look at our possible answers if we are given. The possible answers has minutes and hours. But 2 over 5 hour is very small, which means that it will enter into minutes. You get it? You convert because 1 hour is 60 minutes. So we can convert 2 over 5 hour into minutes because the possible answers give us the options in minutes. So if 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, then 2 over 5 hour. 2 over 5 hour is less. So if less, more divide. This is a direct proportion. Now, let me use this opportunity to talk a little about direct and indirect proportion. Now, with indirect proportion, as you can see here, if I were solving this question as direct, this is bigger than this, which means that here will be more. But we use less. Because with indirect proportion, an increase here will cause a decrease here. But with this is a direct proportion. 1 hour is 60 minutes. So little hour, which is 2 over 5 hours, small, will give you small minutes or small number of minutes, which means a decrease here has caused a decrease here. So this is a direct proportion. This is an indirect proportion. In due course, we'll take the topic as a whole and digest it critically. So those in forms 1, 2, you have another session to talk about it fully. Continue subscribing, sharing, and invite your friends to follow. All right, let's continue. So if 1 hour is 60 minutes, then 2 over 5 hour will be less. So if less, more divide. The more is 1. So you have 2.5 divided by 1, more divide, and multiplied by 60 minutes. This will give you 2 over 5 divided by 1 is the same as 2 over 5 times 60. 5 will cancel or will divide 60 12 times. 12 times 2 is 24 minutes. So it means that 2 over 5 hour, which was our answer, has been converted to minutes, and the answer is 24 minutes. Now let's look at our options. Option A, 24 minutes. B, 12 minutes. C, 3 hours. D, 2 hours. So our correct answer is option A, 24 hours. That is for question 13. Please, let's proceed. Question 14. And I believe and hope you are following and you are enjoying this course. All right, so proceed with question 14. With question 14, a housing agent makes a commission of 103,500 cedis when he sells a house for 690,000 cedis. Calculate the percentage of his commission. So let's put down our parameters. Number 1, we are giving commission, which is 103,500 cedis. Commission. 103,500 cedis. And then total sales. So total sales was 690,000 cedis. Now, let me talk a little bit about commission before I proceed. With commission, it is an amount you are given for undergoing a particular trade or a particular level or achieving a particular magnitude of sales. That is commission. So in this question, The housing agent, a housing agent means someone who sells house for people or rents house or lease house to people for their original owners. So this housing agent makes a commission of 103,500 cedis when he sells a house for 690,000. So he sold the house, and his share for selling the house on behalf of the original owner is what gives us the commission. And he sold the house for 690,000 cedis. So we are asked to find the commission in percentage. So there's the formula I use. Commission in percentage is equal to the commission over total sales times 100. And the final answer will be expressed as a percentage. Just like you are finding for profit percentage. Profit percentage is equal to profit over cost price times 100%. Just like you know under profit, the same thing. So commission percentage is commission over total sales times 100. So your commission is 103,500. Your total sales is 690,000. And then 100 multiplied by 100. So you can do your calculations and continue. This will cancel this. These two zeros will also cancel these two zeros. So you have 1035 over 69. When you look at your possible answers, you have 15.0%, 10.0%, 7.5%, and then 5.0%. So now, to do this, you can decide to use your long division method. So your denominator comes out 69, and your numerator 1035 goes in. Now, you can ask yourself, you can take them one after the other. So let's take 103. How many times will 69 go into 103? Now, 69 times 2 is 18. 9 times 2, 18, 12, 13, which is more. So it means 69 will go once. 69 times 1 is 69. Then we subtract 103 minus 69. 9 from 3, we need to borrow. So we borrow 1 from here, take it here, take it here. This becomes 13. 13 minus 9 will give you 4. Then we are left with 9 here. 9 minus 6 will give you 3. So we have 34 more. So 34. 69 cannot go in 34, so we bring down these 5. Don't forget we have 5 here. Now, how many times will 69 go into 345? Let's try 69 times 5. 5 times 9 is 45. Remember 4. 5 times 6 is 30 plus 4, 34. That is exactly 345. So 69 will go 5 times. So 69 times 5 is 345. Subtracted from 345 will give you 0, which means that 65 will divide 1035 15 times. Remember that our answer is expressed as percentage, which means that our commission in percentage is 15%, which is option A. So the only thing is that with the options, they added 0.0. So A, option A, is our correct answer. Don't forget how we did the long division. Alright, so I'm going to rub that one away. Alright, so don't forget, commission over total sales times 100%. Your commission divided by your total sales times 100. And then you express your answer as a percentage. Very simple. Alright, I believe it's okay. We go to question 15. Question 15. The simple interest of 37,500 cedis is earned on an amount of 500,000 cedis for 3 years. Find the rate of interest per annum. So we are finding rate. This question is under simple interest. Simple interest is also a subtopic under percentages. Now, everybody is very familiar with the formula. Simple interest is equal to principal times rate times time all over 100. So, according to our question, let's list our parameters. we have simple interest. So a simple interest of this, which means that our simple interest I is 37,500 cedis. What do we have again? On an amount of 500,000. So our 500,000 is a principal. That's the amount I invested. All right. So 500,000. All right. For 3 years. 3 years is time. So time is 3 years. And the question is find the rate of interest. So we are finding R, which is rate. You can use two methods here. You can decide to substitute. Or first you make R the subject of this general equation before you do your substitution. So to do the first method, which is substitution, you substitute in the parameters that have been provided. So interest 37,500 equals principal 500,000. Rate we don't know, so we still represent with R. Time 3 years, all over 100. What do we do here? We can do cross multiplication. So this times this, or we multiply both sides by 100, and that will give us 100 times 37,500 equals 500,000 times R times 3 all over 100 times 100. So this is the term, and we are multiplying each side by 100. This will cancel this. So I'm going to continue on this side. All right, so let's proceed right from here. 37,500 times 100. That will give you 375,000. So 2 more zeros. That will be what? 3,750,000 equal. Let's proceed. We have 500,000 times 3. That will give us 15. 5 times 3 is 15. And then 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Times R. Remember that this 100 has already been cancelled. Alright. So 15. 3 times 5 is 15. And then we have 5 zeros. 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Now how do we get our R? We divide both sides by the coefficient of R, which is 15. 1,500,000. Alright, so you divide this, the same thing to the left-hand side, 1,500,000. 5 zeros. So now our rate is equal to, let's do the cancellation before, 2 zeros, 2 zeros, 2 zeros, 2 zeros. We have 375 divided by 150. Then we do our calculations. So, what can we use to cancel? 5, right? 5 will go into 375 how many times? So let's try 70. 5 times this is 0. 5 times this is 35. Still less. So let's go another one. 5 times 80. 5 times 8 is 40. More than. So 75. 5, 5, 25. 5 times 7 is 35 plus 2, 37. We are now there. So 75. 5 will divide this 75. 5 will divide this 30. We can still use 5 to divide, so we continue. 5 will go into 75 how many times? 15 times. 5 will go here how many times? 5, 6, 30. We have 15 over 6. You still break it down. What can you use? 3. 3 will go into 6, 2. 3 will go here 5. So rate is equal to 5 over 2. Rate is always given in percentage. Let's look at our possible answers. 20.0% A, 10.0 B, 5.0 C, 2.5% D, which means they want our rate to be in decimal. So 5.5 over 2 is the same as what? 2.5%, which means that the correct option is D. Now, you shouldn't forget this formula because it's a general formula for interest. So when you are given interest, principal, and time, you can find rate. When you are given interest, rate, and time, you can find principal, and so on and so forth. All right, so that ends our question 15. Now, your calculation should also be done very well. If it were subjective, which is theory, we'll have to show some of the calculations just like we did over here. But these objectives, And I need you to understand how the answers came about, so that if you meet a similar question, you'll be able to answer it correctly. Let's go to question 16. We'll take a few, when we get to question 20, we'll take a break and we'll return and continue from 21. All right, question 16. Question 16 says, simplify 8x squared y cubed divided by 3 over 8 x y raised to the power 4. Now, this is under indices or powers of numbers. So here, what you are doing is that each term, now the laws of principle, the laws of indices says that, sorry, let's modify the question according to the B.E.C.E question. So question 16, this division is not there, which means that the two terms are multiplying. So pay attention. Those with their resource pack, they are B.E.C.E questions, will follow and know the correct question. All right, so what we are going to do is that the whole number part is going to multiply the whole number part. The x term is going to multiply the x term. The y term is going to multiply the y term. Very simple. So the first thing we have is 8 times 3 over 8. 8 times 3 over 8. And then we have x squared times x. And then what do we have again? Y cubed times y raised to the power 4. So what do we have? Y cubed times y raised to the power 4. Remember, I said each term is multiplying the same term. So there's a whole number, there's a fraction. So they multiply. There's the x term, they multiply according to this. There's the y term, they also multiply. Now, this will cancel this, giving you what? 3. X squared times x. Now, the laws of indices will apply here, which says that when you are multiplying two numbers with the same base, you add the exponent. So, x here has an imaginary exponent of what? 1. So, it means that it is x raised to the power 2 plus 1, giving you 3. If you are multiplying two numbers with the same basis, you add the exponent. Let's go to the last term. The same base multiplying, you add the exponent. So y raised to the power 4 plus 3 is 7. Let's go our possible answers. Question 16a. 3x cubed x raised to the y raised to the power 7. B. 3x squared y raised to the power 7. C. 3x cubed y raised to the power 4. D. 3xy. So the correct answer is A. 3x cubed y raised to the power 7. A. Very simple. So these are question and answer for question 16. Let's go to 17. Question 17. The scores of 10 students in an examination are given as follows. 10 students. 45, 12, 75, 81. 45, 12, 71, 81. 75, sorry, 81. So these are the marks for the first 4. All right, the next 4, we have 54, 51, 24. The next set, we have 67, 19, and 39. 67, 19, and 39. Now, we are using this to answer the question 17, which says, what is the median of the scores? What is the median of the scores? I will continue on the other side of the board. I believe you are following, and you are subscribing, and you are sharing, and you are liking. All right, and you are learning a lot from this session. Now, these are the scores of 10 students in an examination. So when you count, realize that they equal 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Beautiful. Now we are going to find a median. How do we find median? Number 1, you should notice that this is a raw data. It is ungrouped. It is not grouped. So it is a raw data. And to find the median of raw data, the first thing you have to do is arrange the data in correct order. So I'm going to arrange the data. So from lowest number to highest number. So when you look at these, the lowest number is 12. So 12. The next is 19. The next is 24. The next is 39. And the next is 45. Followed by 51. 54 after. And then we go to 67. And then we come to 81. Let's count and make sure it's still up to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we missed 1. Let's go back and check. We have 12. We have 19. We have 24. We have 39. We have 45. All right, so 75 is missing. So 75 comes before 81. So 75 and 81. All right, so these are data arranged in the correct order. Now, to find median for raw data, you should know the number of the data. And the number is 10. Remember, we have 10 students. The first thing you do is to find, because the n or the number of the data is even number, you find half of it. So half of n. And that will give you the position of the median. So it's called position median. So you add th, that is the position. So half of 10 is 5. So fifth position. So this position median means that our median is going to be found at the 5th position. But we are not done. Because the number of data is even, we find the next position, which is the 6th position. 6th position. So we come back to our data and find the value at the 5th and the 6th position. So this is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. So 5th position is 45 plus 6th position is 51 divided by 2. So in simple terms, what we are finding, when we are finding median of a raw data, we are actually finding the mean of the position median and the next position. The mean, which means you add them and divide by 2. In elaborated form, first, count the number of data. Find half of it if it is an even number. If this were an odd number, for example, 9, if the number of data were 9, then we'll just find half of 9 plus 1. So take notice of this as well. If the data, the number of data is odd, it's an odd number, then this is your formula. That will give you half of 9 plus 1, half of 10, and that will give you 5th position. So when you start with this, you are finding position of the median. Okay, so that will give you 5th position. And if the number of the data is odd, after finding the position, you don't find the next position. You just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 5th position, so this is the median. But in this question, we are given 10 as the number, which is even. So when we find the position, we'll find the next position. Then we'll find the 2 values at each position and find the mean of it, which means we'll add and divide by 2. 45 plus 51 will give you 96 over 2. And 96 over 2 will give you what? 48. Which means that the median is 48. According to the question, it scores. So 48 mark or 48 marks. Let's get our possible answers. We have A 39, B 48, C 51, and D 54. So the correct answer is B 48. So please take note, even though our number of data is even here, if we have a number of data that is odd, an odd number, we use this formula. And when you get the position, you don't find the next position. But when you are doing that for an even number of data, you find the position, you find the next position, find the two values at this position, add them and divide by 2. That will give you your median. All right, so you can try an example for data that has the number, the total number as odd, and that will give you your answer. All right, let's move to question 18. Now, question 18 is a pie chart. A pie chart is to be drawn from the data in the following table. So I'm going to represent the table on the board. Question 18. So this is a table. The table has two groups. We have foods or foodstuffs and percentage. So the first one is cassava, which has a percentage of 20%. The next one is yam, which has a percentage of 17%. The following is plantain, which has a percentage of 28%. And the last class on the table is maize, with a percentage of 35%. Now pay attention. The question is, what will be the value of the angle of the sector for maize? The value of the angle of sector for maize. So take note that this is the total, and always the total should be giving you 100. The pie chart is drawn from the data in the table given. So we have 35, let's find out. 20, that's for cassava. 17, that's for yam. 28, that is for plantain. And 35 for maize. We can do it here vertically. Now, 7 plus 8 is 15 plus 5. That will be what? 20, 0 remainder 2. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 2, 5, plus 3, 8, plus 2, 10. So 100. Which means our total is 100%, of course. So when I add the percentage for individual foodstuff, I'm getting 100, and that's the total. So to get the percentage, now if I were drawing the pie chart, I will calculate the angle of sector for each foodstuff. How do I get the angle of sector? I divide the percentage, in this case, the percentage for the foodstuff by the total percentage, which I just calculated, and multiply by the total value of the pie chart. The total value for the pie chart is 360 degrees, because the pie chart will form a circle, which is 360 degrees. So if I want to find that for maize, which is the question, what is the percentage for maize? So angle for maize. Percentage for maize is 35. Total percentage is 100, and multiply by 360 degrees. Let's cancel out. 0, cancel this 0. 5 will go into 10, 2. 5 will go into 35, 7. 5, 7, 35. 2 will go into 36, 18. Is that correct? Good. That will give you 7 times 18. All right, 7 times 18, you go. 7 times 8 is what? 56, remember 1. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 5, giving you 12. Which means that the angle for maize is 126 degrees. When you look at your possible answers, you have 126.0, 100.8, 72.0, 61.2. Which means that the only thing they did was that they added 0.0 here. So this will give you option A. Question 18, option A. 126.0 degrees for option A. That's question 18. So with the question 18, you realize that 126.0 degrees is the correct answer.